Hey, it's Anne. I'm here again with a tutorial. This one is for something I'm not going to say famous for, but well known for. It's these loose misty trees in different colors. So yeah, you don't even need a pencil today. This will be super easy. Just get a reference photo if you'd like. And yeah, let's get to it. So this is an in-process look of how I do this. I usually start with kind of damp paper, and it's unevenly damp, so some places are a little more wet than others. I recommend having a composition in mind ahead of time, some areas where the trees will be darker and taller than others. And besides that, it's pretty simple. So the trees are like pine or evergreen trees, so they're basically pyramidal in shape. The branches are the longest at the bottom, and they gradually get shorter as you go to the top, and they're kind of not perfect, so some branches will be longer than others, and if you look closely at the trees you can see that it kind of has a zigzag shape to them on the sides of the branches. The other thing I do is as you can see here, some of the trees are bluer, some are greener. I kind of have like, if you looked at my palette on the side, I have like a mixture of different colors, blues, greens, kind of together, and this helps make the layered look more realistic. I usually use like ultramarine or cobalt blue or phthalo blue, and then sap green or viridian, and sometimes I mix a little Payne's gray in there to make darker trees. And as most of my watercolor instructions kind of say, I usually start light and get darker and darker. So I have like the light pale trees in the background that I do first, and I add kind of misty looks around them by moving my hand from side to side. As you can like see, if you look carefully, I kind of move my hand side to side and kind of use the belly of my brush to kind of push the water out so that it makes it like a swirly misty look. And I make sure to kind of keep the paint wet as I go so that I can move it around if I need to. And the tricky part that I always seem to struggle with and forget is like you need some dark patches that aren't exactly trees. They're kind of just like misty patches or like rocky sides and outcroppings. If you look to like the left of my painting, there's some like watery splotches, for lack of a better word. So the trick is when you have these dark ridge lines where the trees are lined up, just make sure you have a wet brush with not a lot of pigment in, that you can like draw the pigment out gradually so that it has that misty look about it. Another thing to remember is to see where your composition had that white space mapped out and make sure you avoid that, because you want to keep that white space as an important part of your composition. Plus, the trees will lose their impact if there's trees everywhere. So as you're working towards the end of your painting, you can start getting more darker detailed branches, and they'll stick out as like in front of the mist and create that layered look. So here is a close-up of the finished piece. You can kind of see where there's some spots that get really dark with the Payne's gray, and here's another piece that had more greens and more distinct tree branches. And I hope this tutorial was helpful, and as always, go ahead and follow me on social media and DM me if you have any questions.